Good evening, everyone. In this tutorial, I'm going to demonstrate how to use xterm as well as xclock, as well as xcalculate and xeyes. So as you can see that these topics are going to be discussed. And originally, before we do this one, you could see that this is a tutorial on RHEL 8.9 and Red Hat Enterprise Linux 9, or actually RHEL 8.9, not 9. Red Hat Enterprise Linux version 8 is the major version, and the minor is 0.9. So we're going to, by default, you have the xterm and other stuff. I had installed htop on it, and then I removed xterm to demonstrate this for you today. So I'm going to install xterm, xclock, xcalc, and xeyes, and we're going to use them to open it up, the apps that are there, the programs. So in fact, when you are doing this one, you have to, on RHEL 8 version 8.9, you have to enable some of the repository here. So I'm showing you here the repository that needs to be enabled. And then on the repository for xterm, by default, it's already available. You can install it using yum or DNF. Yum is symbolic link to DNF, and DNF is symbolic link to DNF3, which is a Python program, DNF3. And then you just use it. Yum eventually is going to go end of life. Right now, it's symbolic link to DNF3, and DNF3 is the Python program, as I mentioned, that you can install it. So whether you use DNF or yum, as of today, all of them work because they're pointing to, both of them are pointing to DNF-3 or DNF3. And then the subscription manager is another command that when you're using it, basically you have to enable this code ready builder for RHEL 8.8-x86 64 RPM. When you do this one, this allows you to install xorg-x11 apps package, and this xorg-x11 app package, xeyes and xclock are going to be provided. As you can see here, it says Red Hat documentation says that for RHEL 8.9 or 8.x, you have to just make this repository enable. So I'll show you how to do that one also. And then this page is basically showing you that it is 8.9 that I'm going to do it. And this one is a little bit bigger. It's much easier to read. So if you're just using your cell phone to watch this video, you can read the whole package information here. But when I do it, I'll show you the installation, everything here. So you're watching this video on MyWebUniversity at youtube.com. youtube.com is the website, and at MyWebUniversity is my channel handle. There's a lot of videos that are there for you. You're welcome to watch it and subscribe to our channel and make some nice comments so I can help you further. Let's just go to the Red Hat machine here. I'm going to move this Zoom information out of the way so I can type in the commands here and I can see the screen like you do. So as you can see, I'm logged on a Red Hat machine, and current machine is, if I just do a cat -n etc Red Hat -release, it shows that I'm running Red Hat Enterprise Linux 9, 8.9, 8.9, not 9. Because I had done installation of 9 previously, and I had done some demo, and just that word comes in my mouth all the time. So it's 8.9. And then if you look at the cat -e etc OS -release, that also tells you that we're running RHEL 8.9, and it is a Fedora distribution. Some people, they say that Fedora is Red Hat. No, Fedora is the distribution, and Red Hat is Fedora distribution. So just don't mix it up together. CentOS, Rocky, and Red Hat, all of them are based on Fedora distribution. Let me just resize this one while I was talking. It just did this. So the way you resize it, Control-Shift+, you can make it bigger. And then if you just handle this one, you just do this and oops, somehow, let me just exit out of this window altogether and just go under activity. I want to show you, first of all, if you just install the graphical user interface, which is server with GUI on the Red Hat, not just a server by itself, and then this X11 Xorg stuff comes in, very nice interface, and then you can change the background to the background interface by right-clicking here and then just changing the background, as well as you can click on this application and see all the application that currently all installed. One of the tools is that this file manager that I'm using DNF and YAM to install stuff, but through file manager you can also go through like Windows Explorer here on the Red Hat. You can do file manager to just handle your files, and then on the command lines you can use DNF, RPM, and YAM to install software and remove software. There's a lot of other tools. One of the tools that you're going to use the most is the terminal, and another one is xterm. And since xterm I have removed it, it's not showing here. But as you can see on my graphic interface here, that was somewhere on the previous one. Let me just go on the PowerPoint presentation, and you can see here the xterm is there. So I removed it in order to make sure that you see what I'm doing here for installation. So instead of this one, I'm going to click here and open a terminal. And this terminal comes in, it's really nice. So I'm going to do Control-Shift+ one time to make it bigger, and then I move it right here. Now it's much easier reading it. So let's do the first one. If I say which xterm is not installed. You can see that, right? So how do I know that what is the package that provides xterm? If I say DNF repo list, this is just a list of all the packages or PMs that are available for me to just do it. So if I say DNF provides, and then user bin xterm, for example, then I should say which packages are going to be providing the xterm package. And you can see that is there. Since this RPM, route 8.8 for RPM, when I did a DNF automatically, if I just try to run xterm, it says it's not installed, do you want to install it? As you can see here, DNF repo list, and then grep -i RHEL-8 for X. That's good enough. You will see the one that is there. This one is already in the package. That's why when you say DNF provides xterm, it will say that this package provides xterm. So that means that I can do sudo. Let me just, rather than run sudo every time, I'm going to become one time change my password. I mean, get into the sudo, log in with sudo access. Now I have logged on as root. So I'm going to say DNF. Actually, before I do that one, if I just run the xterm, this one, it says that it's not installed. Do you want to install it? I say no. Let's just do it through DNF or YAM. So I'm going to do it through DNF, and then DNF install xterm. And if I just say -y, it's not going to prompt me, but I want to see that it shows the name of the package, and I say yes, and go ahead and install it. Notice that the name of the RPMs are showing here, and then the xterm, everything that are there, and then the package upstream is part of that one. So I say, yeah, go ahead and install it. And if sometimes if you notice that let xaw, was broken after the installation. For some of the version, I have noticed that that's broken. You have to uninstall the entire xterm app and then reinstall it, and it would fix it, that library. So now xterm is installed. If I say which xterm, you can see the file user ben xterm is available there. In order for me to use it later on, I'll use it, and I'll just do a little bit more work here. And so the xterm is installed. But remember, I said DNF provides user ben xterm, and it told me the package that were there. So I could also do something like RPM minus query all, and then grep minus I xterm. So this one is going to tell me the packages that are there. And then one of the packages for the X11. So if I just say xterm user ben, I could do something like this and say while read var do, and then say pm minus ql for query listing, then $var, and then grep minus I and ben. So if I just want to see any binary and that are associated with that one, I could do something like that. Now it's going to list only the xterm and resize and uxterm and those other ones. If I don't want to just limit it to the bin directory, I could do this one, and then it will just list everything, all the packages that are there, okay, including the man pages on the everything. So that tells you about xterm. And then in order for me to use the xterm, I'm going to exit out of this one now, say which xterm. I am now Wahid as user. So I could say xterm by itself, and it will open an xterm nice interface here. But notice the color and the size, everything is a little bit too small. So in order for me to do that one, I could say minus font size is equal, let's say 16, and then make it a little bit bigger. Then you can see that the size is bigger now. If I want to just font size of 20, let's see if the size 20 is also not showing. So I'm going to provide also a font face, which is New York. I like that font, and it's bigger, you can see. So I'm going to exit out of this one and just change it to font size of 16. And that's looking good here. So, sorry, looking good on this command, right? So now if I just want to say something like which banner, now banner is already installed. I installed it earlier. So I say banner xterm. So you can see that the xterm looks nice there. Banner hello world. And so whatever you write, that banner is going to write. But I wanted to show you the xterm, so that xterm is just opening it. At the same time here, if you want to just open another xterm here, you could just say, for example, clear screen, and then run this xterm, and you could say ampersand, meaning that run the xterm and also open an xterm with minus background darkish red, let's say. Darkish red would be 25 here, and then 00 here, and that would be just opening a darkish red here, you can see, and there. So on this one, if I just press enter, now the color is really ugly, because black on red is not gonna look nice. So I want to change the color, a foreground color, to white. So instead of just putting white, I could put that 3Fs, and that's going to translate to 6F, and that's gonna be white. And now you can see it is white color, and then I can run the commands and do whatever. I will do this. But if I just want to change the xterm, let's say just instead of this, I could make it a different color. Let's say I'm going to do 25 each. and those ones will be that kind of darkish, this color, which is very nice for IDs. Usually we use for PyCharm, Visual Studio Code, and that's a nice color too. So ls-l, you can see the commands there. So if I want to just make it, let's say 0, 0, and then darkish green, that would be just this, and then clear screen, df -h, ls -l. Notice the size of the text is a little bit too small. So what I could do is say minus a font size, and then just make it 14 or 15, whatever number I want to do. Let's make it 15, similar to this size, minus font name. I'm going to say New York in words, New York. And notice that if I just put ampersand here, background it, the both windows I have access to type in. So this one is the darkish green, and then I say run the df-h clear screen who ID uname -a cat etc/release. Any command that you type in, it's going to run that, right? So let's say I just want to only do that. And then on this background here, I could do ampersand here and just change this one to darkish blue. So 0, 0 for green, and then 25 for blue. And then by doing that one, I just open another xterm. So if I just do some command here, say do ls-l/user, you could see all of that. And if I want to run this one for a little bit longer, you could just run this command with -r, and it will just run and give you the output of those ones. So there's xterm and everything is already installed. But while this one is done, I'm going to go back here on this window and just demonstrate some more on the other binaries, okay? So now let's look at this green screen. I say which xclock is not there, which xeyes is not there. But then I could just say, and let's become root here, or just run one command at a time. So clear the screen here, say sudo, if I just run xclock here, notice it's gonna just xclock is not gonna find it. Say I did not understand what you're meaning. So I'm gonna say sudo dnf install xclock. Since xclock is not going to be available for me, let's see if xclock and other ones are going to be installed. It's not going to install. Similarly, if I do xeyes, it's not going to be available because they're part of the xorg-x11-apps RPM that have the package has to be done. So why is that not finding it? If I say DNF provides xclock or xeyes, it's not going to even find it because the repository is not enabled yet. So when you're doing a DNF provides and you say under user bin, it should be xclock, and it doesn't find it, is because the repository is not enabled yet. So how will you do that one? So you just go on the browser here. On the browser, when you click on this one, go on the X11. I already showed you that on the PowerPoint presentation that you're going to enable this code ready builder for RHEL, but nobody's going to remember that long name every time you have to search for it. So in order to search it and then be able to cut and paste the name, I'm going to use the Red Hat machine here with Firefox. So let's do that. So I'm going to say google.com, and you have to be on the internet to search. And so I am on there now. I'm going to say xclock. Actually, let's do DNF install xclock for RHEL 8. So that string that I search, it provides this Red Hat customer portal website from access.redhat.com. So whenever you are getting information, you're creating ticket, you're just usually going to access.redhat.com or developers.redhat.com, one of the two, and then you log in and you could search. This one is good because it does not have to be, you don't have to have to log in to see it. And you can see here, it says that for the xclock and xeyes, you need to enable this repository. So just getting the repository information here, I'm going to copy this repository here and then go to the terminal. And then let's say on one of these ones, I could just close the other ones. Like for example, on the xterm, I open a few of them. Let's just go to alternate tab and then go to the terminal. So let's say I'm going to do it on this window. I'm going to say sudo su dash, I become root first. And then if I just say host name on this one, DNF repo list, notice that RPM is not enabled yet, right? So I'm going to just exit out of this xterm because cut and paste of these ones, I did not enable it. By default, it is not enabled. So I'm going to just do it on the terminal right here. And this one, I'm going to become root again. Once you become root, it's just a few more commands that you sometimes do, but it is easy. So I say DNF repo list. You can see that the repo list does not have that package that I want to do. So now I'd say run this command, paste it here. This one says subscription manager. Repos is the repository and dash dash enable. If you want to just enable this RPM package, then you just run that command. And if you want to disable it, is dash dash disable. Same command, subscription manager, and then dash enable. Now I have done an enable it. If I run DNF dash repo list, you can see that it is this code ready builder is right here available. Okay, so since that package or PM is available now, it is on. I could say, and DNF provides xclock, and then it's going to say it is clock is provided on that RPM package that we just enabled. You see that it shows that X11 there. And then the name of the RPM that we are going to install is xorg-x11-apps. That's the RPM. So, and then the same thing if I just do for xeyes, similarly, it's going to tell you that X11, xorg-x11-apps needs to be available. That's why it finds it. So all I have to do is say DNF install xorg-x11-apps. This is going to install it. Now we're going to get both xeyes and then xclock as a result of it. And you can see that this is the name of the package right here. So I say, yeah, go ahead and install those two packages. Now it is done. If I just say which xeyes is going to find it, which xclock is going to find it. And then at the same time, I could say DNF, I'm sorry, not DNF, RPM minus QA, grep minus I, X11 dash xorg dash X11 dash apps. So this is the RPM name. And then right here, remember I did a while read, it's only one line. I could just do this. And instead of cutting and pasting it, I say RPM minus query A for all, and then $sign or backtick, whichever one you do. If you do $sign, you have to do between parentheses as a subshell, and then it says that that package is installed. Echo $question mark is going to say 0 successful. So if I just change this command to query list, it's going to list that package, all of the binaries. And notice that if I do say grep -I xclock, you can see that the xclock is there with all the like the gunzip is the man pages, and then the other one is xclock colors, and xclock user pen binary is the one that I'm interested. Similarly, if I do this one with xeyes, it's gonna find out that the binary and all the detail. You can also do when one command, you don't have to do this one. egrep, which stands for extended grep. Grep stands for global regular expression print. So -I, now you can do a expression or extended grep. So -I, and then within this one, I could say xclock, and then also xcalc, not calc, xeyes. So that will just show both of them, all the binaries there. And if I'm interested only on the pen stuff, then I do a grep -I pen, it will show the two binaries there. So you know that it is installed. I'm going to just exit out of this one here, clear screen, and say which xclock it is there. So I say xclock, and it's going to run the xclock here. And that's a very nice xclock format. So if I just close it and then I say xclock -D for digital, then I get a digital format here. -D means the digital, okay? And then you can always do an ampersand to background it. If you don't want to see this warning, let me show you a trick. You could do that one. So let's say you run this one and you say, why is it giving me this warning? I don't want to see, suppress that one. So if you want to do that one, you just say xclock -D, then greater sign dev 0 or dev null 2 greater sign ampersand 2 greater sign ampersand 1. This dev 0 or dev null is a device that you're sending the warning and other errors to nowhere, to no land. It's like just discarded. And then you can see there's no information here. So if I clear my screen here and just do this window, there's no error. All I have to do is just get that one. This dev null or dev 0. So when I've been saying null, I could just replace this one to null. It is still the same thing. Okay. So this is what that does for you. At the same time, let's do xeyes. Clear screen. We don't have to clear screen. We could, I already did. Sorry. Xeyes, and then here you can just see xeyes opens here. So no matter which direction you move your cursor or mouse, then it's pointing to that direction. It's a little bit slow, but it depends on how you want to move it. It does. Okay, so that's eyes, and then at the same time, and there was another one with calculator. So let me just do what is. First of all, if you say what is xterm, it will give you a summary of terminal emulator for X session. What is xclock? It tells you that as a digital clock for X, analog or digital, whichever one. -D would give you the digital, analog is by default. And then what is eyes? Then that is also follow mouse xterm. So we say what is xcalc? At this time, calc is not installed. So it says, I don't understand what you're talking about. I don't know anything about xcalc. Nothing appropriate at this time. So I'm going to say which xcalc. It says I don't know where it is installed. It's not installed yet. So I say DNF provides xcalc, and then it's going to detect the package. If it is a part of the repository that's already enabled, all we have to do is install it. And EPAL is the package name for it. So that is by default enterprise Linux version that we have to do. Now I'm going to say sudo. This one I don't have to become a root. I'm going to do it in front of it as sudo. And let's just use yum install xclock, xcalc. So whether you use yum or DNF, they're both pointing to DNF-3. So now that one is done. If I just do DNF provides xcalc, now you see that it is already showing you that is there. At the same time, if I say which xcalc, it's showing me the binary file. User bin xcalc is the actual binary executable in format. So if I just want to do now run the xclock, xcalc for calculator, it's going to open a calculator here. And then you can just see everything is scientific and all of that is available by default. And now notice that it also this one gives you some warning. The same method, you could just say xcalc greater sign dev null and 2 greater sign &1. The 2 greater sign &1 significance is that when you say xcalc redirect the output to dev null, the output, this one is going to, the standard output is going to be written to the dev null. But when you say 2, the standard error also goes to the standard output. So both of them, standard input and standard output, are going to get redirected, so nothing else, but the output is going to show for the calculator program by itself is on the screen. So whether you use dev null, that is suppressing the output, or dev 0, both of them are a good device that just suppresses those junk information that you don't want to see. Okay, so that does this one, and then at this time, if I say DNF repo list, and then just run it, you can see that the repository that are enabled for it, and EPAL is the one that is already there. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you're learning it in English, just watch these at MyWebUniversity. I also have like the entire book in Linux Ubuntu, about 13 chapters, and Red Hat documentation is also there for you. So you can also get dynamic documentation as well as Red Hat version documentation here. So about 12,000 technical documentation, all in PDF file for you. I have done it. So if you're looking for something like Control F xterm, and then the xterm, you look for it, and then say 1 of 3. So the one that is xterm is this one. You just click on it, and then I just produce you the output in PDF format for you. Okay. And if you're interested in Linux Ubuntu, I'll also have this one on chapter 12 here that you could just type in the command that you want, like xterm, and then just do get the output. Sorry, I clicked the wrong button. Right here is the button that I should have clicked. So xterm is there. Then similarly, if you just say, what about DNF? The DNF is not on this one because this is Ubuntu. So for this one is apt for application package toolkits. This is equivalent to that one. And if you're going for the word to DNF, then you have to come back here and look for either CentOS or Rocky or Red Hat. Let's say you go on Rocky, then you can look for DNF and then search for DNF. And any DNF documentation, one of 16, the one DNF.1. The Torganza file is the one that you're going to open, and that will just give you basically, let's see which one is the one that DNF. It's one of these ones, could be. There's so many of them with Red Hat 8 point this 16 matched because DNF system upgrade is one, and DNF in YAM 2 and the DNF, that's another one that is also available. So let's just open dnf.conf file and something like that. And then you can see man dnf.conf file is there. And if I just open another one, DNF control F DNF .1 is not there, DNF.1. Okay, DNF. Just I'm going to search for another DNF here. Let's say the closest one would be DNF system upgrade, DNF change log downloads. Let's say this one is, I'm going to do the system upgrade. Yeah, DNF system upgrade is another one. So there's all these commands are separate. If I just search for YAM, control F YAM. Yeah, YAM also has a number of them, 4 of them at least, and that is good. And then you can see for all of those ones are available here. And then this is the RPM YAM copper stuff. So there's a number of these commands that are available. And then the one that I did it for 9.2 is different, but we're looking at 8.1. So if I just come back on this machine, you could say man and DNF. This one will just give you the DNF section 8 of the manual pages. That's why. And because that is a more system administrator, section 8 is providing it. Man YAM is there also. And I told you that the YAM is a symbolic link to DNF. Let me show you what I mean. So if I say which YAM, then it says that is the binary. But if I say file user bin YAM, it's going to say this is symbolic link to DNF-3. And if I say ls-ld user bin YAM, you can see the symbolic link pointing to DNF-3. And if I do the same thing and say which DNF, that's also symbolic link to DNF-3. But if I say which DNF-3, that one is actually a Python program. So file user bin DNF-3 is not symbolic link, it's an actual file, and it says it's a Python script. And if I just do a cat -n user bin DNF-3, that's about 61 or 62 lines code, 58 lines in there here. And every version that you have 9.2 has about 62 lines, but it's basically modules that are using syspat and path and OS modules and other ones. Sys modules and everything else that are being called. And then when you do the installation, DNF itself or YAM itself has a lot of information here. We just showed you a few of the commands. DNF-help is also and give you all the list of commands here. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it. Watch for more tutorials like this. I'm going to post a lot of them. So as you subscribe, you will enjoy learning, and then have a great learning time, and then enjoy your life. Take care. God bless you all. Bye-bye.